Hey everybody, it's Sam Jacobs. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're safe and sound on this Friday, wherever you are. Welcome to Friday Fundamentals. Today, back on the show, we've got Jim Sharpe, lifelong friend of mine and the CEO of an events management business and an on-site meeting business called Eventry, where he's been since January. And Jim's going to talk to us about the key lessons, the key method for gaining strategic clarity when you're a new leader into an organization. Now, before we get there, we want to thank our sponsor. Friday Fundamentals is brought to you by Outreach. Outreach triples the productivity of sales teams and empowers them to drive predictable and measurable revenue growth. By prioritizing the right activities and scaling customer engagement with intelligent automation, Outreach makes customer-facing teams more effective and improves visibility into what really drives results. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Sam. Thanks for having me. It was great to connect a few days ago.
We're glad to have you back. So here's our question for you. What are the key steps that a new executive, doesn't have to be a CEO, but a new executive in an organization needs to follow in order to gain strategic clarity? What do you think?
Well, great question, Sam. And it's something that in my 11 weeks here on the job has been a major focus for me. And I think we all agree that one of the challenges for any organization is that over time, it can become distracted through either too many priorities or chasing shiny objects or even allowing customization to get in the way of scale. And, I'm here at Eventry for various reasons, but one of the major things that I'm tasked with is creating that strategic clarity for this company. And we're approaching the 100-day mark here, and we've already achieved quite a bit in terms of making that clarity a reality. So I'll talk a little bit about the process. The first thing that I have done here as a new CEO of the company is a listening tour. I've been told that the messages or the key strategic items you need to know are within the minds of your team, and I found that to be true here. So I went on a large listening tour, one-on-one meetings with the team, an employee survey, and even a large series of client meetings to get a feel for how they felt about the business and the product and what we should be thinking about strategically. So after that listening tour, I took those notes and did a full-day employee offsite with our executive team. So our executive team and our leadership team went offsite. We started from scratch a bit, but we leveraged those findings to come up with a framework for thinking about where to go strategically. And we basically provided ourselves with three options that were option 1, 2, and 3 of where we wanted to go as a company. And the most important part of that was identifying who we didn't want to be as a company, or perhaps where we have been as a company that we shouldn't be. Now, what that means for our business is that we intend to focus on our core capabilities more than we have in the past because we have been distracted by other things. But getting back to the process, that meant that we aligned it as an executive team. We all locked arms and agreed that this was the strategy we were going to roll out. We then communicated to the organization through a town hall format and ongoing written communication that we had identified a strategy, and we walked them through the actual process of that strategy, which I think was empowering for everybody to understand and be a part of that. And then once we had communicated that to the organization, we also communicated it to the board. So we had our first board meeting with me in the seat where we walked through that strategy. It actually tied in perfectly to what the board had been thinking was the focus for the company. So we communicated that to the board and we're off to the races. But then the hard work began, which is that you actually have to keep momentum and set deadlines and KPIs toward that strategy. So what we've been doing now is we've rolled out a committee structure that starts at the executive level and trickles down a couple of levels that drives prioritization on the way down and then accountability on the way up. And on a week-to-week basis, what that means is that we are staying in touch with where we are in terms of the strategic rollout, a lot of which is technology related, through deadlines, through KPIs, and through green, yellow, red looks into how each thing is going versus the plan. I'll say the thing that I'm feeling great about at this point is that the strategy is very clear. It is very simple. It is not a strategy of becoming distracted. And I think that the main thing we have to do from here is stick to our schedule, maintain the momentum and pressure on that strategy, and most importantly, just ensure that we are not distracted by some of the things that have distracted us in the past.
I love it. So recapping for the audience out there, the first thing is listening and step one when you're trying to devise and develop a strategic plan and and deliver strategic clarity to the business, you've got to, as you said, right, the ideas and the strategy is in the minds of the people that you work with and in your customers, in the market itself. So first thing is a listening tour. The second thing is an offsite where you can distill all of the feedback into 1, 2, or 3 options. And then the executive team can debate, discuss, and then ultimately decide on a direction. Once you decide on that direction, you communicate it out to the organization, hopefully through a town hall and ongoing written correspondence. And then it's about measurement and tracking and maintaining the momentum and pressure. You mentioned earlier, you instituted a quarterly business review process. You develop dashboards for each department. You're trying to drive prioritization on the way down and accountability on the way up. And then it's just about executing the plan. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Sam, I think you captured it all.
Awesome. Jim, thanks so much for being on the show. If folks want to reach out to you, remind us of the best way to get in touch.
Yeah, please feel free to email me at my Aventry email address. That's jim.sharpe, with an E on the end of sharp, of course, at aventry.com. So jim.sharpe at aventry.com, and look forward to hearing from you and appreciate your thoughts.
Jim, thanks so much for being on the show. Folks want to reach out to me, you can, linkedin.com/Sam F. Jacobs. Once again, thanks to our sponsor, Outreach, who triples the productivity of sales teams and empowers them to drive predictable and measurable growth. Jim, stay safe out there. We'll talk to everybody next time and hope you're all doing well as can be as we manage through this crisis. Thanks, everybody.